Doing keto right? I'm going to explain some basics. Coming right up. Hey, I'm Dr. Ekberg with Wellness for Life, and if you'd like to get as healthy as possible by truly understanding how the body really works, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. The ketogenic diet is getting more and more popular, but what is it really all about? Some people want to eat as much fat, but it's really more about how much carbs you're not eating. So the whole idea is to reduce insulin and insulin resistance. So when we eat something with sugar or carbohydrate, then the body has to create insulin to get that sugar out of the bloodstream. And when we eat carbs, we get a quick blood sugar rise, so we need a large insulin response, and over time that leads to insulin resistance. And that's the whole purpose of the ketogenic diet, is to undo the damaging effects of insulin resistance. So what is a high-fat diet? That's really the crux, because most people think that high fat is anything over 25% fat. Because most politically correct diets are low fat, which means 25% or less. So when we get up to a 40 or 50 or 60% diet, they think that's outrageously high fat. But the problem is 60% fat isn't high enough, because it still allows 40% of calories to come from carbohydrates and protein. And 40% is going to trigger a whole bunch of insulin still. So carbs have a very strong insulin response. Proteins have a slight insulin response, and fat has zero or negligible insulin response. So what most people try to do when they want to lose weight is that they just try to cut back on everything. That's called starvation. And the body doesn't like starvation in the long run, so it's not sustainable. And that's why most restriction diets don't work. Deprivation diets don't work. So if you cut back on the carbs, then you have to increase something else. And the only thing that you can increase without creating more insulin resistance is fat. Now the good news is there are healthy fats. Fat has been demonized because we have all these terrible processed fats. We have trans fats and processed vegetable oils and shortening. And all those fats are terrible. They will kill you. But it's not about saturated versus unsaturated. It's about processed versus unprocessed. So what you're looking for is whole healthy fats. Things like butter and coconut oil and olive oil and even lard if it comes from a healthy animal. Of course, you can also include healthy vegetable fats and fish fats from avocado and fish and nuts and things like that. Those are all good, healthy fats, and you can eat as much of those as you like. So the key is, in order to get the ketogenic effect, in order to get the body to rely more on fat burning than carb burning, to train your body away from a carb metabolism to a fat metabolism, which is the only way to actually start burning the fat that is stuck on your body, you have to get very, very low carb. So we're talking, some people can get away with about 50 grams of carbs a day, and they start transitioning into a fat-burning metabolism. Other people, they're kind of so stuck in their insulin resistance that they have to cut way, way back, maybe as low as 20 grams a day to help the body to transition and make those changes. So a ketogenic diet can be very beneficial for most people's health, and for some people it might be the only way to lose weight without starvation. And if we starve ourselves, it's not sustainable, because your body will protest and you'll go right back to what you were doing. So how do you get into the ketogenic diet? How do you transition into it without feeling bad all the time? So first, you want to try to cut out your processed foods. They're usually very high carb, but they're also very low nutrient. So cut out the white sugar, the white flour, all the breads, and cut out all of the processed vegetable oils that have no nutrients and are full of chemicals and rancid byproducts. Those are the things that interfere with your health. So once you've got those out of the way, now you have a more nutrient-dense food supply for your body. And then once you've done that, you're less dependent on carbs already. You're going to have fewer cravings. So now you start gradually cutting back, maybe cut back 10% per week on carbs and increase gradually protein and fat. And then once you're more into sort of like a paleo diet, you've eliminated grains, you're eating mostly vegetables and meat and fish and healthy fats, now your body is ready. So now you can cut your carbs way, way down. And you want to keep track of your carbs. You want to keep a food diary so that you know how much is going into your body. And now you want to get it down to 50, 40, 30, 20 grams, whatever is necessary for you. And everyone is different. It depends on our metabolism, our size, our activity level, how insulin resistant we are, how long we've had it. So the only way to be sure is to measure your ketones in some way. And you can do that by urine or blood or by breath. And then the next question is, once you're in ketosis, you're doing fine, you're losing some weight, how long do you need to keep that up? How long is a right time? Well, for some people, they might want to do it for a lifetime. For other people, they may not need to do it for a lifetime. So after you've done it for 6 months or a year or 2, then you might feel like you've reached your health goals. Maybe you have no cravings, you've reached a stable weight, you're feeling good. At that point, you can either continue to doing it or you can try to reintroducing some carbs. And I would do that very, very gradually, and I would really notice how the body is doing. And the main reason that you would want to do it is just to give yourself a little bit more variety of foods. So you can still, on a keto diet, what you want to have is a lot of vegetables. Vegetables are low carb. They have a very low glycemic index, meaning that your blood sugar doesn't rise very much because they have a sugar, low degree of sugar that is embedded in fiber, so it's released very, very slowly in the body. So you can have as much non-starchy vegetables as you like on a keto diet. But again, if you've met your weight goals and your health goals, then you might want to start looking at a more variety of foods. So then introduce it slowly, notice the changes, and make sure that you don't start developing any cravings or insulin resistance or anything like that. So at that point, you're basically transitioning into a paleo type diet. And again, the number of carbs is going to be different for everybody. At that point, some people may not need to stay in ketosis, so they might get up to 70, 80 grams of carbs a day and still be fine with that. But it's still a low carb diet, and you want to understand that white sugar and white flour will never have any major place. I mean, if you have a teaspoon here and there, it's probably not going to kill you, but it will never have a place in a healthy diet for humans because it's not what we're designed to eat. If you enjoy this kind of content, then share it with as many people as you can, because this is information that is saving lives, and we certainly need more information like that. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that we can keep this content coming your way. Thank you so much.